Okay.
Well, what you call a boat kick up and wear what is comfortable.
Okay. All right, let's go straight to the papers this morning. I have the Punch newspaper, I have the Nigerian Tribune, the Guardian, the Nation newspaper, and of course the Vanguard newspaper. Taking my first shot at the Punch newspaper this Friday morning. I have this one saying suspension embattled Natasha files fresh suit as Senate backs Akpabio. I tell you, the last has not been heard concerning the Natasha and Akpabio issue. Moving away from that, 2027 PDP governors Obi NNPP Mole alliance to stop Tinubu. Page 2 of the Punch newspaper has that story. FD foreign airlines begin talks over rising fares. Tax reform, reps approve new VAT sharing formula for states. And the biggest story on the front page of the Punch newspaper this Friday morning says FD knocks Obasanjo as ex-president rates Buhari worst in corruption. And Rider, presidency lampoons OBJ for warning Tinubu government may dwarf Buhari's fraud index. Now going to education, TET Fund plans 700 billion naira disbursement to varsities. Customs intercept undeclared $1.1 million dollars at Kano Airport, and fuel subsidy removal saved Nigeria from bankruptcy, says Tinubu. Away from the Punch newspaper, let's take a look at the Vanguard newspaper. Tinubu has performed very well. Peter Obi, page 9, has that story. We will enact Fly Nigeria Act to boost local airline. Kiyamo. Millions of Nigerians still struggling with poor internet access. Minister, I think I can attest to that one as well too, because I don't know, ever since there had been hiking the tariff of telecoms, I've noticed that there has been so much distortions and disruptions, even in the phone service, the call service, data services, and the likes. But we'll talk about that in the course of the program. Moving forward, tax bills, reps adopt 7.5% VAT, reject increase to 15%. Away from that, Nigeria on the brink, but there is hope. Catholic bishops. Page 26 of the Vanguard newspaper has that story. And going to Rivers State now, Rivers crisis. We will shock Tinubu if Buhari's... let me take that again. Rivers crisis. We will shock Tinubu if Fubara's is impeached. Igbesu. And the riders, there are quite a number of riders under that caption. Bode George Tinubu, Wike's metrics inflammatory, dangerous, embarrassing. He talks as if he controls everybody in Nigeria. And another rider, Rivers Assembly to probe CJ over alleged age falsification. Consider interest of Rivers for Barabeg's lawmakers, others. For 50 years, we were spending money belonging to unborn generations. You want to know who said that? Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That story is found on page 26 of the Vanguard newspaper. For 50 years, we were spending money belonging to unborn generations. And away from that, Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Obasanjo free not to use road when completed. Dave Umahi. What is it?
Can you imagine people in Nigeria's public space? I mean, reckless utterances. Who you, David Umahi? And you open your mouth and say that about a former president, or even any Nigerian at all. And we see what is that irreverent, uncultured fellow called Minister of saying his own, and this one is insulting former president.
Obasanjo free not to use road when completed.
And they are in Nigeria's public space. They are serving us. These are people that are supposed to be serving us.
Moving away from that, let's go to the Nigerian Tribune. And the first story that caught my attention is the one that has to do with Akpabio getting vote of confidence from other senators. Akpabio gets senators' confidence vote. Natasha files contempt charge against him. Others. Away from that, going to the PDP now. Damagum to PDP members, stop encouraging APC government out of fear. And riders inaugurate South-South zonal caretaker committees. Let's focus on our problems first, not outsiders. By also Governor. Dangote Foundation targets 1 million Nigerians with 1 million bag of rice worth 16 billion naira. History will judge Tinubu favorably, Information Minister. And another one, Customs intercept undeclared $1.1 million at Kano Airport. I'm talking about hard currency there, intercepted at the Kano Airport. Buhari pledges loyalty to APC amid El Rufai's defection to SDP. And away from that, over 500 shops raised in Aleshin Lawyer Market, NEMA confirms. Tax reform bills, reps restrict president's power to exempt or waive tax payment. And riders under that caption approve 55%, 35% VAT allocations to state, local government. Solid minerals royalty increased to 7.5% to 10% from 3% to 5%. Exempt security personnel from personal income tax. Moving straight to the Guardian newspaper now, I have this one saying no amount of coalition can oust Tinubu in 2027, says Teller. Page 28 of the Guardian has that story. Natasha, Senate President, the National Assembly clerk, others face contempt charge. And to Rivers State, Fubara tasks Assembly on Supreme Court ruling amid calls for CJ probe. Now, this is a kind of a report concerning education, especially the graduates being turned out at the varsities. From gown to town, death of first-class solutions mocks high turnover of varsity geniuses. It's a comprehensive report done by the Guardian newspaper this Friday morning. Obi's return to PDP imminent, engages party stalwarts, Governors Forum. Page 6 of The Guardian has that story. Again, TCN battles vandals as 4 towers collapse, worsens grid supply. Another one, Dangote Foundation launches 16 billion naira food aid for 1 million Nigerians. And the last one I'll be taking on the front page of The Guardian newspaper says inmates dying in custodial centers due to poor feeding. Panel finds out. Correctional facilities, yes.
Maybe death facilities.
I've been asking that question. At least a couple of times I've had the opportunity to at least visit one of such the so-called correctional facilities. I mean, and I didn't see anything correctional in those places.
You see, it is what it is, as they say. Nothing has changed. You know, we love appearances. I call it the content and container theory. You rebrand the content. It's like a bad automobile. You take it to the one they call panel beater. They do body work, solid body work, and the car appears
neat and good. But the engine...
Oh, yeah, so let's go. Even if you manage to start, brake failure.
I think that's the best illustration for that. It's 9:42 on Solutions 93.9 FM. Now, let's go straight to the business of the day. Let's take the stories one after the other. I would like to start with the Senate, where other senators gave Godswill Akpabio a vote of confidence. The second time about in the last 2 or 3 weeks now, passing a vote of confidence in the midst of all this brouhaha with him and Natasha. Let's take a listen at the Senate President addressing the members of the Senate after the vote of confidence was passed on him. And he made some slight references to Natasha's issue too. Let's take a listen. Godswill Akpabio here.
Presiding, and by the time I heard on the radio that this August Assembly had passed a vote of confidence on its leadership, and particularly the Senate President, I said it would not be correct if I come and pretend like the ostrich, putting his head under his wings and pretending that it was dark. I needed to let you know that I deeply, deeply appreciate the vote of confidence was on my leadership. And this is coming almost twice in the last 6 weeks. In 2 weeks? In the last 2 weeks. It's good to err on the part of surplusage. It's important for the public to know that my colleagues are together, the Senate is one, and bonded together by destiny and by God Almighty through elections. The 10th Senate is together, united in purpose. It's also important for the public to know that whatever decision we arrive at here is unanimous. And I recall the last decision we took, and which concerned one of our sisters here, the senior Senator Natasha Ogbochu-Uduaghan. I'm also aware that when she left the chambers, she went to Brekete Radio, and she went to Arise Television, and she distorted the facts. I'm aware further that she has now externalized the matter by attempting to embarrass the Federal Republic of Nigeria by going to give a narrative at the IPU UN event, totally different from what occurred in the Senate. But I want to thank our Right Honorable Member, Kafilat, right? That's her name, Kafilat Okwara, who had to give a press conference in New York to caution the international press not to vilify Nigeria, but to note that the facts presented by her were totally out of tune with what occurred in the Nigerian parliament, and that we have our own internal mechanisms of resolving issues in Nigeria. And outside this parliament, we also have the judiciary, which she's even standing before the judiciary. So I don't know why even here, she has brought a petition, and she has not allowed us to even look into